Where the fuck is McClay?
Why do you have two phones?
Dude, I got two phones, bro. One for my bitches and one for my hoes. Bogcast, episode 40. Ben Edwards, take one.
Did you hit the fan? Alright. The Bogcast, episode 40, Ben Edwards. And then if you don't mind doing it to that camera.
The Bogcast, episode 40, Ben Edwards.
Sweet. You can just set it down on the side.
And action.
Awesome. This is the Bogcast, episode 40. We are now brought to you by Bang Salon. Come get all your hair needs, including cuts, natural colors, vivid colors, extensions, shampoo and styling, all under one roof at Bang Salon. Find and message Bang Salon on Instagram at Bang Salon at BANGDSALON. Use promo code
Bogcast
for 20% off your first visit. So come on down and get banged by Jordan. But if you really try to bang her, I'll fucking kill you. Cool.
Also, the Bogcast is everywhere now, guys. Please check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and all the podcast catchers out there. And make sure you like and subscribe.
Sweet. Hell yeah. And also thank you to our previous guest who came by, Adam Berardi, who brought over this nice champagne called Trance. So cheers to you, Adam. And I would like to also welcome our next guest, Ben Edwards. He's an actor here in Phoenix, man. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How you been?
It's been a while. I've been doing very well. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, man. I seen you online killing it out there, man, doing all kinds of crazy shit. You just got back from LA, right?
I did get, yep, that's correct.
Well,
last night.
Did you do some training out there? Or what?
I took the Margie Haber 2-week intensive course.
Oh, damn.
It was very intense. People people from, a couple from England, a couple from Australia, Norway, all over the place. So it's pretty dope.
Hell yeah. So what kind of what did that entail? Just like all day long, just classes and training?
Yep. It was all day, every day, minus the first Sunday. So we were intense every day for about 6 hours a day. We pretty much worked on just how to live the life, right? How to live the life rather than trying to play a role. Because you're never really a doctor. I mean, you might be, right? But you're never really the character you're going to play as.
Mm-hmm.
But so you shouldn't play that profession. You're a freaking human, right?
Yeah.
So be the human and try to experience what it is to live the life and quit trying to play the emotion. We all hide the emotion, right? We mask that. So don't go in there playing the emotion and want to cry because this looks like I'm supposed to. No one cries because they don't want to be embarrassed. So, it just teaches you how to really be human, really, at the end of the day, and quit trying to act and just live the life.
Yeah.
So it changed perspective for me. So I'm really excited.
Was that the first classes or training you've done, or?
It's not. My first training was in 2007 in LA, back when I got out of the military. So I've kind of did the Howie acting studio here in Mesa, really good as well.
You're probably a fifth or sixth actor that's brought up, probably starting with Jessica to Becky to Adam.
Yeah, I went to school with all them over there. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, all over the place. It's been great.
So you started it was in 2007 after you got out of the military? That's when you started acting? What made you decide to get into it?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be a performer. I started performing when I was in high school, actually. My best friend was a illusion, the escape artist.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that's kind of crazy,
right? Houdini was like his idol.
Oh wow!
So he
is badass.
In high school, he started his own business in high school. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
That was back in the early 90s, right? So he was doing talent shows on the corner, just on the street. He was doing.
Where's this at?
All this was taking place in a Columbus, Ohio area.
Ohio, okay.
And he would.
That's a big college town, right? Is that where
Ohio State?
Ohio State,
absolutely. Yeah. And then Bowling Green, the party school as well, in Ohio. So yeah, he would just perform for like Ford, GMC, their parties, and just started growing. To this day, he owns a huge factory of those blow up things, carnivals, characters, huge business in that right now. But I started performing then, and I stopped doing it, graduated. I didn't know what to do with my life, and that's when I joined the military.
What branch?
I was in the Army. I did 6 years active. I was in Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay.
For that time, did 2 tours in Iraq in between 03, 04 to 05, 06.
Wow.
In that second year, we had a lot of close calls, right? Had moments where I probably thought I was going to die, right?
Oh, man.
And then after that, I just realized, I want to follow my dreams before I actually die.
Yeah. What a great motivator, right?
Shit,
Right?
dude.
Sure. So that's what it was. I said, look, I want to follow my dream of being an actor, and I want to do it before I die. And so I got out of the Army, just packed up, went straight to L.A., in 2007, took some courses. I lived West Hollywood for a little bit just as I was in class. Then I moved to Santa Monica. I worked in 2 jobs there, trying to hustle. I didn't have time to audition because I was trying to pay my $1,500 rent.
Yeah.
And I had 2 roommates, so the rent was like $4,000.
Wow.
So
Holy shit.
Now, is this just like a 2-bedroom?
3-bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was struggling, for sure struggling.
How old were you at this time, if you don't mind me asking?
How old was I? It was 2007. I don't know the math. I think I was in my later 27-ish probably, around there. So yeah, I was hustling. Then economy of 2009 went to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can't afford this. I just can't. I was working 2 jobs. Wasn't auditioning. Wasn't doing what I was there for because I didn't have time.
That's the thing. A lot of people go there and get lost in the job that they're just trying to survive out there and forget about why they went out there in the first place.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And hopefully I think that perspective is changing now, right? Go out there with some money or a plan. Not just like, I'm going to follow my dream. Like,
with $1 in my pocket. You hear that story. I got $1 in my pocket and
Right.
drove a bus here and
Yeah,
fucking... but that's like 1 in a fucking billion.
You have to be realistic, right? You got to be realistic. But one thing that I respect about that is...
Oh, you went for it.
Yeah, especially that's exactly what it is. You went for it at a young age when a lot of people, I think, are wrong in the idea that we got to go to school and then just jump in our work life and then save up for retirement. And it's like, no, you don't know if you're going to be alive. Like, why don't you go do it now? Give it a shot now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like that's beat into you, right? As a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I know, it's bullshit.
I don't fucking know, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yes. I still don't know fucking know.
And so it's like, exactly, like we're still figuring that out.
I don't think you should be, you should constantly be just learning new things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just
and
keep
just evolving
and just moving forward to what gravitates to you and move towards it.
Yeah.
But when you have those thoughts daily, and we all do, right, as humans, like, what is my purpose? What am I going to do today? I don't have what I thought I was going to have, a family, 2 kids with white picket fence, right? And it's like, okay, so what's that mean about you? Nothing. Then get that, but just take time or move forward. How are you going to get it? I don't know. Figure it out and move forward, but never stay stagnant or move backwards, because being in neutral is the worst thing you could do to yourself.
By far.
You know what I mean?
There's nothing worse when you waste time and do nothing and you get anything done. It's like,
Because then what? You start approaching life as a victim.
Exactly. Idle hands is the devil's playground, man.
Right? Yeah. And then everyone and friends, you start corrupting them a little bit, like, damn, dude's always a victim. I don't even want to hang around that person because it's always about them and shit. It's like, dude.
That's everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Like nowadays.
Right. Exactly.
Well, then, once you get over that, you become free to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're free. That's like true freedom.
Right.
When you don't care about that shit. You know what I mean? And it's almost like a part of ego death.
Yeah.
Right.
Being able to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the crisis in 2009, did that bring you to Phoenix from LA?
Right. So I was struggling trying to find work out of the military because I was I did signal communications, so I provided telephone, internet, secure, non-secure, and that didn't translate to a networking job in the civilian sector. I didn't have my C++ and all these certifications. I didn't have that. I just knew how to make shit work.
Yes.
Right. So
you probably knew more than people with those certs.
Well, it's just a different application, right?
Yeah.
There's different equipment. However, we're trainable. I mean, I was a sergeant in the Army. I was a leader. Like, I have those skills. Like, come on, like I could learn, just teach. But it doesn't. A lot of those things don't translate. So I was struggling. So I moved in with my family actually when I got back, and then I started living with them. I said, I need money. I don't know what to do. And at that time, I was too prideful to go get a job at McDonald's or Walmart or whatever, because I was like, I was a freaking leader in the military. I'm not. So I had this ego or this entitlement, like I'm not going to go be a cashier, right, at that time. And so I started going to college using my GI Bill just for the money, because they have a stipend of like $1,100 a month.
Hell yeah, that's money that you earned. Doesn't matter how you spend it.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to go to school for the money, not for the education.
Yeah.
Then you fast forward until now, and I end up getting a master's degree in social work, and I'm a licensed therapist.
You don't know
That's
how
amazing,
amazing
dude.
is that you're saying this. Like, this is crazy. This is synchronicity again, man. One of our best friends is getting his social work degree.
Okay.
And he's former military, and he works with a lot of former military.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something that you said that I bet you he didn't face this, but I'm sure a lot of veterans face this when you get out of the military and you get to that point where you're like you said, I did things. I'm a leader. I led men in battle or led men in time of war, or I did things, and then you come back and it's like nobody wants to think about that stuff. They want to say, what degrees do you have? What jobs did you have before that? What if you don't have this? And it's kind of hard to start over again.
It is.
When you've done things, that were tough to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
And
Kyle?
Succeeded in them. No, that's Belanzia.
Oh, Belanzia, duh.
I mean, so it's very cool that you said that, because I think a lot of people need to know that.
For sure, yeah.
It's tough, and I think, it's something huge. I mean, even in the acting industry, to put that I'm a veteran, etc. Right? But as far as a regular civilian job, it's looked at as like cool. They could be accountable and on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
like that's part of it, but
Yeah.
like we could do way a lot more than that as well.
We
Like
fight that. I work
you
in
know?
big corporate America BS,
yeah.
and that is one of the biggest things that we fight. Is you got a lot of jobs aren't. You can't just get any quote unquote person off the street and to do a job, especially if there's specialized parts. And too many people think that as long as they show up and they're on time, I'm okay with it. But you have to have people that know what they're doing. And yeah, you can learn on the job, but some people aren't fit to do certain things.
Sure.
So yeah, that's a big problem in corporate America. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how it went. I just pushed through school, and then I actually got back into acting in 2012. So from like 2009 to 2012, I took a break. I moved to Jacksonville, Florida for a while, kept going to school. I didn't know if I was going to be a registered dietitian or a physician assistant. And I was like trying to figure it out.
But what's bringing you all these other places? Like, what brought you to Jacksonville? And what brought you
Sure.
to Phoenix? Do you have
Yeah,
family, or
good.
you just raised random?
Right.
Like, let's fucking go there.
Yeah. So my family was specifically my father, his sister, my aunt, and my brother were still in Ohio. My father moved first to California because he's been doing air conditioning and heating for years. So he's like, why not be somewhere hot where I can make money?
make
Ohio,
money.
you could still do heat, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
So he came on his own while I was in the military. Then my brother came, then my aunt came, and my dad went from California to Arizona and just posted up here. And he was helping me actually finance through while I was living in LA. I was burning through. I had like 20 grand saved up when I moved, and I burned through that pretty quickly.
Damn,
obviously.
dude, 20 grand.
Yeah, and so I started using credit card, and I was like, dude, I was working the 2 job at the Gap on the 3rd Street Promenade in Louisa's Trattoria, and he was helping me supplement like however much I had. Say I had $800 that month, and my rent was $1,000. He would break me off the extra $200 to get by. It kept going. I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this to my dad. You know what I mean?
Did you have an agent out there or anything?
I didn't have anything
Yeah.
out there. I had some friends from the acting classes I was going to, but then I just ended up coming to Arizona because that's where my dad was, and that was a place for me to crash. And during that time was a part of when I re-injured my back. So when I was in Iraq the 2nd year, I had a Humvee rollover during a patrol convoy, herniated my L5S1 in my back, and I was kind of out of commission for a while. That was a part of also why I got out too, because I just wasn't as fit as I used to be, which plays a role later because I was in the depression mode when I got back from LA. I just started working out, hurt my back. I could barely walk, getting depressed. Suicidal thoughts started coming into mind. Like, if I can't walk and be athletic like I used to be, then I don't want to live like this.
Mm-hmm.
And
How are you dealing with the pain at that time?
Sure, like it was bad. It was like sciatica times 100, right? I
Yeah.
could barely walk, and then on top of the feeling of rejection and loss just coming from LA, trying to do something I was going to do, it wasn't working out. So it was just a big mental fuck, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, man, I live with my dad right now, and I'm just like, but I fought through it. I started working at the Sky Harbor Airport full time while I was getting my undergrad degree and moving through. So yeah, that's kind of just the way that went for me, but I'm just glad to be where I'm at now, to where I get back into ACT 2012. And then I just started networking with all the people in Arizona and starting just trying to find my place in the industry here.
Yeah.
I think it's cool being an actor in Phoenix, and we actually have an advantage. Like, there's people all over the world that want to do what you did and make that jump to LA. And living in Phoenix, we have that advantage. It's only 6, 7, 8 hours away, depending on how fast you drive. But where you can go to, I think it's less stressful living in Phoenix and getting audition and trying to just figure out a way to get there than it would be living there. I've never lived there, but from all the stories I hear, it just seems so crazy. If you're not prepared, I mean, fuck, I thought you should go out there with 20 grand, but you went through that like that. That's just the LA life, man. Especially now, fucking,
it's tough.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's super tough. I was just there for that 2-week course in the Airbnb that me and a guy from Australia, we got together. It was $4,000 a month.
Wow. What?
And so, I mean, luckily we were there 2 weeks, and we had 2 of us. We split it, so it was like $1,000 each, right?
Yeah.
But still, I'm just like, whoa, right? Like, that's crazy. And then a guy in our class, he just signed a lease because he moved to LA while we were there, and his one bedroom was $3,000 a month.
Holy shit.
I'm just like, okay, it's not.
And there's people jumping to pay that.
Oh yeah.
Do people make more money out there? Like, say, like a regular job, like say Wendy's or something like that. Is it more money than it would be out here though? Like, does it?
I really don't know.
No, it is different.
I mean, I'm sure it is different, but I wouldn't know.
The cost of living's higher there, but you know what I mean. You do make more, but the rent's just so crazy, insane that you have to have 2 jobs. There's a lot of these artist houses that's really popular. I stayed at before where there's like these 4 or 5 bedroom houses, and there's like 12 people living in there, and there's bunk beds in the rooms actually, and there'll be like a guitar player, an actor. Yeah, that's crazy, and they're all paying like $1,000, $1,500 a month for this bunk bed. It's insane. And you know what else is crazy? Everywhere you fucking go, there's homeless people.
Oh, yeah.
The homeless situation in LA is out of control right now, to the point where they're fucking shitting on the sidewalks. There's human feces everywhere now.
It's actually to a whole nother level now. They actually have like blocks and alleys, like just that community. It's elevated to a whole nother thing to where like even like interns in the industry will be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to REI and buy a dope ass tent that I could live in. Yeah. Then I'll go to the gym, shower, shave, whatever, and I could sleep in my nice ass tent posted up at the park or whatever.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, they're all on the sidewalks everywhere.
Tons of them.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a $20 Planet Fitness. You could shower, scrub your balls, you fucking work out, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's crazy, but that's the new evolution of it. And I heard, I didn't look it up, but I heard they have an app where they could tell you where you could park your car to sleep overnight now. Wow. For people who do want to just sleep in their car and do whatever.
There's an app in San Francisco that shows where all the human feces are at. All the shit. I bet you there's one for LA.
It's like that Pokemon Go game or what? You just find shit
I don't know if you want to play it, but right on, man. Fuck, I just had a question I forgot what I was gonna ask. Something about acting. Fucking, how do you memorize your lines and shit? Do you have a process for that?
You know what? It's changing now after my class, but
after this recent one?
I used to actually record myself reading through on like my voice memo on my phone, and then while I was doing cardio or doing the gym, whatever thing, I would just play it and just try to sing with it or speak with it.
There's a lot of people that have said that on here.
Yeah, that's just easier for me if I don't have someone to help me. If I have someone to help me, then I just give them the script and tell them to read it and let me F it up all the way through, and they're like correcting me. Now I feel guilty, like, shit, I had to get this right because I don't want you to keep having to correct me.
Yeah.
But
that's a great point.
Having it is such a crutch that it doesn't work for me. But since this class, it's really changed my perspective because they taught you how to, like I told you, just live the life, right? So you start from the top and just start from there and just discover as you go, right? So the first line is, hi, your name is Ben, and you meet Brian and Keith, and you tell them, like, they're the coolest fucking dudes ever. Cool. So that's my first line. So I'm going to think, well, I must be a pretty nice guy if I'm going to talk to these guys, and they must be pretty freaking cool if you're going to. So you start creating your personality, right? There. Like, dang, he must be pretty cool if he's just like, hey, you guys are awesome. Yeah. Kind. And you just start reading the lines and discovering who the guy is.
Yeah. At that point, you're not just acting.
But you don't really know, right? The character breakdown will say 20 to 30 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, cool, you got like the recipe to a degree. Yeah. But what flavor are you going to bring to that? So then you got to create his whole personality. What was he growing up like, right? What was it like?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And what kind of person is he by the way he communicates to you? Or when you communicate to him or me, how do I respond? That tells you a lot about my character too. So if I could create that character and be specific is the key, right? Yeah. Specific to what you look like, right? then I know how to look at you a certain way, from size or whatever. Yellow shirt, squirt, cool. Like, he's funny. He's probably a funny guy.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you more specific you are, the more I could put feeling and build a relationship. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me and my character. It's about the relationship I have with the others.
Yes.
Because once you can connect with that relationship, the audience is like, that looks real. He's invested, right? Otherwise, you're flat and you're like, hey, you guys are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just saying the lines, just
Right.
That happens a lot.
There's a lot of
too,
people
though.
that do that shit.
It
It's
happens a lot. I'm
annoying.
surprised that even makes it on the
I'm
air
guilty.
sometimes.
I'm guilty. Yeah.
I know everybody's guilty because you got to learn, but
Right.
there's sometimes that I get surprised that that's not stopped and somebody doesn't just say, hey, it's a little obvious that you're, and just try to help them, or
Are you talking about like on major productions?
yeah, major production.
I think on some television shows they just shoot that shit so fast.
Yeah.
They have to. Like certain television shows, like I've seen behind the
Sure.
scenes, like
Yeah.
they're like 2 scenes and they don't even get a chance and they don't care.
Right.
I mean, they care, but they just don't really have a chance or the time
Mhm.
to. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was just talking to my manager in LA yesterday on the way back, and he was telling me he's on a lot of TV shows all the time as the bad guy, the villain all the time, and he's just got a role on SWAT coming up. But he says a lot of the roles that he does, they're not lead roles, so they usually just want him to go and just say your lines, do your job. Don't try to be the star of the show, because you're not. So just go in there and do your part like you're talking about. Just do it. And they don't need to do 3 takes, 4 takes, and make sure you're perfect.
Yeah, they're all professionals.
Just go say your lines, and dude, you're good.
fucking do your job.
You're not the main piece of this story. I need you to make the story flow. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
make too much of it.
Right.
That's exactly what Becky was saying.
Yeah.
Because she had a line in a SAG movie recently in Tucson. and
Yeah.
She was just saying how it was just, because I was wondering how the process was. She said it was just 2 takes in and out. Everyone was super pro in and out, and that's all you get. So.
One of the things, I can't remember which guest said it, but it really stuck with me. I apologize. I guess it didn't stick with me that much, but they said that
Thanks, Chad.
you have to also learn how to kind of like change on the fly. Like if something goes wrong in the scene, what are you going to do to, I think it was Jay. It was Jay that said it.
No,
He said he was on theater and he was coming out and he dropped the bottle. You remember? And when he dropped the bottle, the 2 actors on stage went with it and
Good.
played off of it, right?
Good.
And it was funny because I was watching this thing when I got here about Joker and David Goyer and Christopher Nolan, how they wrote it. And one of the things that they showed is that scene where Joker walks out and the detonator
Hospital.
doesn't
The
go off.
hospital,
Oh, yeah.
Great.
And
yeah.
that's like a perfect example, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that was a fuck up probably.
Yeah.
That
It was, yeah.
and
happy accident.
yeah, and he played off on it, and it turned out to be one of the best
best
scenes
parts
in
of
the
it.
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
You know another badass fucking shot that got cut that also tells you that, you know, you don't need all your best shots just because, you know, you have to serve the story. But right after that, when he gets on the bus, there's a whole shot of him driving off in the bus, and you see the explosion going off in the background, but his head is just forward the whole time. And Christopher Nolan was like, how did he not just want to look back at the fucking explosion? You know what I mean? He just stayed in character like this the whole time, but it got cut. You know what I mean? It's in the behind the scenes. It's fucking badass. I love that shit.
So that's awesome. I mean, we talked about that in this training, right? So it's the whole philosophy is you're living the life. So those mistakes are gifts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are gifts, right? And that's the thing, whether it's a play or not, like, I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
But whatever I say, you're going to listen and you're going to react.
Yeah.
It's human. So when you're living that life, it's not like, oh, action cut, oh, I messed up. How can you mess up? Whatever I say, I messed up, but I said it. There is no.
You're not perfect in real life.
No one is perfect in real life, so it's okay to have a mistake,
Yeah.
right? But you don't. No one in real life just stops like, oh, I messed up.
It's how you play off on it.
You just keep living the life.
Yes.
You let the people in the production do their job, which are technical terms, cut, action. You don't operate on that. You operate on human things, have conversations, living lives. I think another example was Taxi, I believe it was. There's a scene where the actual taxi drives into set. Robert De Niro, I believe it is almost struck by the taxi, and he kind of jumps back.
Oh, at the end.
He jumps back
Yes.
and hits the taxi like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
a
yeah.
real
When he was-
taxi driver.
Yeah, when he was
Just-
going across the crosswalk.
That
or
was a
something.
real taxi
No, that
driver.
was Dustin Hoffman, Brian, you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm walking here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. But it's a similar situation where the taxi driver was not supposed to be on set. He was just trying to work and go around this roadblock that was for production, right?
Yeah.
He just drove right on, and he stayed in the slice of life, as we call it, and just was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that was one of the coolest moments because it was so real.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we use in her terminology. She always says a scene. She doesn't, Margie Haber that is, doesn't call it a scene. That's technical term for actors. That's for production, to talk and keep organization. For her, she likes to call it a slice of life. Because you're just living this little slice of life right now. That's for you. We don't. So it's very interesting just to change the perspective. And how to be an artist. So it's really cool.
My favorite is on Being John Malkovich. When John Malkovich first goes through the portal and he's on the Jersey Turnpike and someone throws like a drink at him. That really happened. That wasn't part of the movie, and he just went with it and started cussing back at him, and it ended up making it into the film. I love that shit.
I
do too.
It's so cool.
Hell yeah. So what kind of projects you been working on now, man? It seems like you've been on all kinds of featured films. I know you were in Pocket Man and Cargo Boy. We were just talking about that with Adam. You working on anything right now, or?
I'm filming still The Seed of Consequences.
Nice.
With Tony Sevier, and then I'm working on The Murder Muse. Rest in peace with Drew Moore. We just filmed on Sunday together.
Oh my god, dude.
So which was like the 18th of this month we filmed together. So it was that's
I'm sorry about
tough.
that, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
These guys don't know. These guys aren't immersed in the film world as we are. I mean, they know it because of the guests on the podcast and stuff like that. But there was a actor here in Phoenix named Drew Moore that passed away a couple days ago,
That's
and pretty much just shocked the whole film community here. He was in Expo. He was one of the
fighting guys.
Yeah, he was like one of the main villains, like henchmen, and I was actually like in one of the scenes with him, and I didn't really like talk to him. It was kind of like a short work day that I had with him, but he was super nice and cool, and I know he meant a lot to a lot of people. So
I mean, he's just a jolly giant, 6'8", like just a big guy, always big sexy is what he goes by. And he's just that personality, just a great guy. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So I'm doing those two. I may be shooting in a feature film in LA in September. I'm working on my SAG eligibility because I got a lot of other plans. The rabbit hat. Well, yeah, the rabbit hasn't came out the hat yet, so this will be the first to make it public. I'm planning to move to Atlanta.
Oh wow!
In the next few months, because some big things are going. This class just kind of got me to another level with that perspective, and I think I'm ready to take that next step. So
that's
I'll
very
be
cool.
Shifting out there.
Yeah, so a lot of people are making that jump to Atlanta rather than Los Angeles. So that's kind of interesting. My friend, I don't know if you know Damien.
Yeah.
He made that.
He shot our first Bucket Man.
Oh yeah. I forgot he was in that.
He was Pyro Ed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in Atlanta right now, so you can get a lot of work out there.
There's
probably.
a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's just the perspective. I mean, during that course, we got to meet with a manager and a casting director as well, part of the workshop, and they just talk about how to get these co-star, guest star, reoccurring. That's kind of the structure, right, for TV and film. To get that, you got to have a couple credits.
Yeah.
You could be great, but if you don't have some experience as a casting director that needs their job, is not going to put a newbie on just because they did a good audition. Like, that might have been a lucky day for you, but I don't know that you've done this before. I'd rather go with someone I could trust. So Atlanta would be the place to kind of do more. There's more just TV in general.
Oh,
so
for sure.
They a lot of local hires, so that would be the place for me to start getting just credits.
Yeah.
Before you even looked at for reoccurring and even a lead. That is LA stuff. So being in Atlanta, I think, is just the best next step for me.
Oh yeah. So about 2020, you're thinking?
The end of this year is my goal.
Yeah. I mean, even I know being an extra isn't the direction you want to go in, but even when you're not landing those gigs, you can get legit paid extra work on the best shows in the world right now. Like Damien was on Stranger Things, he was on Walking Dead, and when you're on those sets, not only do you get paid, but you meet cool motherfuckers that are trying to do the same thing you're doing, and you get to see the top dogs doing the craft, and you learn a shitload from that. So I think that's badass that you're doing that, dude.
I mean, and you learn that everyone's freaking human, right? I mean, a lot of the working actors are coaches in the workshop I took, and they're hustling the side jobs, right? They're doing improv over here. Went to the famous Groundlings improv, which was dope.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
gotta be cool. Yeah,
it was super dope.
That
we
is
watched
cool.
that show. And some of them are fitness instructors, yoga instructors. Like, they're all trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know, it puts it into perspective. Like, dang, I'm not on their level yet, and I'm planning on coming out here. I need to really be rational right quick. Like, let's be real.
And they're also having fun doing it. So that's another important thing. Like we talk about, latch on to that thing that you enjoy and try and ride it somewhere.
I love that you said that. So this kind of came to me during this workshop, and it's super intellectual, if you will. It's the champagne, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So it's like saying, okay, as an actor, we're an artist, correct? And auditioning is a pain in most people's ass, and because rejection is there, and it's just hard. But they kind of give the philosophy that the work is the audition.
Yes.
Once you book the job, that's icing on the cake. Now you get to have fun with it. But the work is the audition. So if you don't like the work, then you're gonna have a hard time in this. You're gonna be depressed. You just don't do it.
Yes.
And you're not even really an artist, right? So like what I was talking about earlier, you're given the sides for the audition. You should be excited to be able to do your art, which is create the most cool, exciting character on your own with all the shades of colors you want to add to what they give you, and be excited to present it to the casting director, whoever's there, right? To be excited to say, look what I created.
Yes.
No one's going to create what I did. Look what I got. That should be fun for you, right?
The same.
I like that attitude towards it.
Yeah.
Instead of being all nervous and scared and worried, and
Yeah,
you should
exactly.
be excited.
You should be excited for it,
Yeah.
because that's where you're going to audition tons more than you're really going to be working.
No,
So
it's
you
true.
might as well like that process and be excited, because another thing is, a lot of times you probably won't think you fit this character, but so what? How cool is it to be able to experience the life of this person that you probably will never live?
Yeah.
So let me get that and be like, shoot, I could be a whatever, right? A female, whatever. I'm going to do it. They gave me the opportunity. I'm going to make what it is mine, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to show them what I got.
Yeah, the more you do those things, the better you become, because you're playing the different roles is kind of like practicing, learning how to do things on the job. It's like the more that you do it, the better you become at your craft, obviously.
Sure.
But if you teach it like a job, yeah, when you first start, it's hard and it's a pain in the ass. But once you get better at auditioning, the more you do, you're going to figure out ways to love it.
Right,
So.
exactly. I mean, for instance, just finishing that workshop, I'm like, send me auditions. I'm excited to put to work
I
what
love
I
that
learned.
feeling.
It's
Getting
that's the
ignited.
feeling that artists should have all the time.
Yes.
Right? Like, if I'm going to paint something, this is where the work really is my painting and the excitement. And then the icing on the cake is to present it to you and say, do you like it?
Yep.
And you buy it, dope. Now you're just going to put it on the wall, people are going to like it. That's not the fun part. The fun part is me getting able to do what I want.
Yes.
And then presenting it. If you don't like it, that's okay. That's fine. I had a freaking blast doing it.
That's why I'm so we get excited about doing this show, because we have so much fun doing it. So it's like really exciting, and especially right now, like we're trying to find out ways to do it more, because we're having so much fun doing it.
Sure.
You know, it's like a shot of adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Especially after the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Everyone's just been pretty stoked. So.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, another thing that you had mentioned about just being on the fly, being able to take direction, that's huge. You know, that's huge to be able to take direction. And one thing as an actor that's important is when you get your script or your lines, don't rehearse how you're going to say things or do things, because now you're restricting your ability, because now you're always going to say this certain way. The end.
Yes.
And you're going to say, can you say it like this?
And then you're fucked.
And you're like, well, I practice it like this so many times, it's kind of automatically going to come out that way.
Yeah.
So don't practice it a certain way. So this school is all about, memorizing is key, but actually living the experience, experiencing the experience is more valuable than the words.
Yes.
Because then you could just adjust however you're feeling, and the words are just going to come. But don't try to say them specifically, right? So it's just very interesting just to change that lens a little bit.
Are you worried about going to Atlanta at all, with all the rigmarole going down there, with people leaving, especially acting, these...
Right. No, I'm not at all, actually. Because I don't consume myself in those things.
Do you think that you don't think that's going to happen? Do you think there's going to be still enough work out there? Because I know the reason I asked is because it's come up on the show a couple of times about how
a lot of Disney, right?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Jimmy?
A bunch of
productions
are leaving the state as a kind of like a whatever reason.
Sure.
Abortion laws.
Yeah, it's
right.
Whatever. I sometimes I wish things wouldn't get so political, but I guess that's how things change. But
Sure.
it is what it is. So a lot of people are, like, for instance, our last guest, Adam, was talking about how New Mexico is blowing up.
Absolutely.
And I imagine that's part of this.
Mm-hmm.
So did you look into that at all? Were you ever worried about that? Or were you just like, you've known that this is where I need to go?
So I've got family there
Great.
that own a couple Tasty Donuts, shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Canton.
Yeah, plug
So
them.
I have family that owns that, and just a couple other people from high school out there. So I got some
Very cool.
contacts out there.
Yes.
My manager's from Georgia originally, so he knows the top casting directors out there and some agencies he's with also because he's a working actor as well. So
Very
I've got a lot of
cool.
contacts out there that I get to kind of go and have meetings with and kind of get my name out there a little bit. So I really didn't worry because for me, it's more about not just going just for acting. It's going to start a new life in general, right? So I have to be comfortable with being able to start a life there.
And Atlanta looks like an amazing place to live.
Yeah, I mean, I was there in the military for training and things like that, so I know the humidity's crazy and all these things. It's a swamp. But
Does your family still live here?
my family is still
So
here.
would you still apply for jobs out here and maybe come back and stay out here and stuff
So I do
sometimes?
own property here, so I'm
Oh,
going to
cool.
rent that out while I'm gone when I do go. So I'm still going to have that. And my manager's in LA, so he's going to just do and I think that's another cool thing that he had mentioned to me is that Los Angeles is willing to fly you from Atlanta to LA to work, even if you're not a lead. But it won't work out the other way around. Atlanta's not going to fly you from LA unless you're a lead.
Yes.
Right? Like a supporting role, they're not going to pay for you to fly to LA. They're going to hire local.
Yes.
Right? Which is
Yes.
common. So that's why that's kind of my idea.
That's cool,
Just
That's smart.
What am I looking for? Tactical
Yes.
approach is,
Yes.
you know what, kind of know all these little details and know that I can still do LA work from Atlanta
Yes.
because they're willing to make that pay.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
it just makes sense. Yeah.
Do you still do the dispatcher shit?
I don't. I have a different role that I do. I'm actually like a mental health coach. So it's kind of a new program we've been doing to where we kind of connect with individuals out of the emergency room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that's
so-
really cool, man.
Yeah, so that's what I do now. I don't do the private practice anymore. I was doing that in the evening, seeing clients one-on-one, but it was kind of just taking all my time from 2 jobs. I can't film, audition. If I do, I leave clients hanging and I got to cancel, and I don't want to.
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. You know, that's just not an ethical thing, I feel. So.
What made you decide to get into social work?
Sure. So I kind of just stumbled upon it, to be honest. My aunt started working at a company called Crisis Preparation and Recovery, a mental health company I'm with now. I was working at the airport. I just finished my 4-year degree in industrial organizational psychology, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but she said, I could get you on here because you have a psychology degree. I was like, okay, the pay was high. Good. I need to make a next step up, right? So I did it. And then once I was there for a couple years, I was working towards my master's degree, working there full-time, night shift. And that's what we do. We have therapists there, counselors, nurse practitioners. And I had a talk with the CCO, the COO, and he said, if you become a social worker or a counselor, you have a guaranteed job here. So that stability in my mind is like, okay, that just makes sense to me. So I just started doing it and just got the license, and I'm working with them now, so they kept their word. They kept me employed. So now I've gotten to a point to where I could work from home remote, which is amazing. Now I've been going to LA for auditions, callbacks, working from my laptop. It's just been a blessing, you know what I mean?
Is social work just a job to you, or do you still have passion in helping people?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great question. So I know as a person on this planet that my job is to give to others. I know that's what my job is, regardless of how I do it. I was a Zumba instructor, fitness. I've done all these things, but everything I've done was always to give back and make positivity just the thing to do. And spread it to others. I just didn't know what the vehicle was to do that. But regardless, as I'm figuring it out, I'm always still doing those things, whether it's fitness or therapy. So, I mean, I enjoy doing the therapy thing, but acting is kind of what I've always wanted to do to give back. Because my father used film and movie all the time to kind of just escape reality. And it really resonated with me. And it's kind of a personal thing for me to be able to just tell stories that touch people.
Yeah.
And allow them to escape that shitty shit, whatever they're in life, and just sit down and just look and enjoy something and just experience that.
Yeah.
And I want to give back in that way. But also as being an actor, hopefully I could create a platform to where I could just touch more people too. Because as a therapist, I touch people on a more of a micro level, right? But being able to do something I love, which is perform and just live lives of all these people and tell all these great stories that people have put down on paper.
Yeah.
And just spread positivity.
You're good, bro.
No, that's amazing, because I think that's, especially with how we're looking at mental health and dealing with it, and it's becoming less of a stigma and more of a thing that is a good thing to do, and more people need to take advantage of some of the
outlets.
the outlets that are out there.
Absolutely.
Especially veterans. I mean, was that something when you came back that you took advantage of? Maybe if it was through the VA or anything like that,
Sure.
social, being on the other end of it.
Yeah. So I personally I didn't want the stigma of having PTSD, right? So they do ask you questions, put you through the process of quizzes to see what you got, and I just didn't want that label.
Yes.
So I just answer questions accordingly, right?
Yeah.
But there is a huge stigma to mental health. I think that's important that you said that. But I did work as an intern at the VA as a PTSD therapist. And I got to work with individuals of various ranges of PTSD. And it's interesting because I get to see the things within myself too that I have, similar triggers, right?
Yeah.
We all have those things. But I think it's just, I think it's a lot of people just don't know, right?
Yeah. What's available.
The transition out isn't something that the patient isn't there for a soldier. Like, I want to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Don't hand me all these packets, make me watch I just want to go. Like, if I'm at that point ready, I want to go.
Yeah.
And so they never really get properly, like, introduced to the next level or the next what's to you. Here's a packet. Okay, fuck that. You know what I mean? It's not something you're going to dive into. So you don't know what's available to you.
Until it's too late sometimes.
Until it's too late. You could always go, right? I mean, there's the services that are there for you always as a veteran. But the stigma also is like, oh, the VA system sucks.
Yes, and that's a big problem.
That's
here.
what everyone hears and says.
Yeah.
And, it's what makes it difficult. I'm not going to say it sucks because I've seen great things there, is that there's just so many people, it's saturated.
Yes.
And
the red tape can be nightmarish.
Sure. And there's all different departments. So people say VA is in as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There's a medical element, there's a housing element, there's a mental health element, there's all these other plate compartments of it that we generalize. It all sucks. Well, no, there's a lot of great things going on.
Yeah.
The thing with mental health that's difficult is that all these services are voluntary.
Yes.
No one can make anyone do anything.
Yes.
Unless they're don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
Other than that, and there's different levels of suicidality, right? Like some people just have suicide ideation where they just have chronic thoughts all the time, but they've never really taken steps to have intention or anything. So, to a normal person, it hears that, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That person should be in a hospital or somewhere. It's like, well, maybe, but not necessarily. It just depends on.
Yeah. I feel that there's a problem. I feel that there's a problem with a lot of places where people go to get help, where they're not, the people that are helping them might not be able to relate.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So one of my questions is about the VA is there a lot of veterans working at the VA, or is it majority of non-veterans working there?
Sure. So from my experience, I've seen a lot of people there have experience in the military.
Okay.
To some degree. Being military veteran, you do get preference to be, get jobs there.
Yeah.
But I will also advocate for those that don't have military experience to say that a lot of the things we do in treatment and therapy, you don't need experience in the actual, right? Like, I've worked with people with alcohol addiction, drug addiction, substance, and I've never had that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those things are connected to a lot of other addictions or just relationships or just trauma. A lot of those things come before the addiction, the trauma and the things you had. So you could work with those things.
Yeah, you're usually masking. You're trying to cover those things
so
up.
I could work with those things that will connect to this later. We could address it. But depending on what your level of abuse is, right? Because if you're too out of it to really focus in depth, then we need to address that first, right? Yeah. Clearly. So I would say if you don't have experience in it, you could still be very, very, very effective.
Yes.
But it is very important because a lot of individuals rather be comfortable with someone who has experienced it. I think that just builds a huge rapport, and
it does.
one of the biggest things in any
that's
therapy
coming
is
from
relationship.
Yeah. Ask me how I know. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that's the most maybe not the most important thing, but it's one of them.
Absolutely. I mean,
And you have to find a way to relate to that person and have that
Absolutely.
person relate to you and build some kind of trust. But
yeah.
the reason I asked that is because the way you had mentioned that, you're thinking as a veteran that I just want to get out of here. Don't make me go through these silly things, and part of me says, well, maybe if other veterans are doing it, then from within they can come up with different ways to work with veterans, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we just hear so many bad things about the VA that it's nice to tell the good things about it.
Sure, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean,
Because the VA is doing some amazing stuff right now, especially helping veterans who are going through mental health issues or even criminal issues, because sometimes those go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've already hit that wall, you're just along for the ride to get whatever you need.
Sure.
You don't care what you have to do to get it. So
and they have services for all that.
yes,
They have service. They could point you someone for a lawyer to help you in this or that. They have housing. But a lot of the difficulty is making contact. A lot of these companies,
Yes.
I won't say the VA specifically, but a lot of companies have a policy like, I'm going to outreach to you twice. If you don't answer or respond, then I'm not going to keep trying. Now it's your turn to contact me.
yeah.
But say if something unfortunate happens to that individual, then now it gets in the news like, oh, this person hasn't been seen for 6 months. We've tried to get a hold of them. We couldn't. And so we move on.
Yeah.
Because we
And
have
sometimes-
1,000 other people to try to get to.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes you have to go by law too, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
you
that's
have to
that's
follow
law.
up. You have to do a certain amount of follow-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of different things that go into that. But I think I think it is key that there are a lot of good things going on. I mean, I believe they just started a program where if you can't get into services in a certain amount of time, they could outsource it to a private practice and
Yeah.
they'll cover that receipt, that
cool.
bill.
That's very cool.
So that is great, so because a lot of things have long wait times.
I don't mean to be rude. I just had to piss so fucking bad. But just keep going.
I think that's very important to see that it's more about just getting the people help as fast as possible, because you hear a lot about that with the VA. Do your headphones okay? Yeah, okay.
He unplugged me for a second.
Okay. Sometimes there's just, like you said, there's a lot of people that need help, and you just need to get that person help no matter what it is.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
very cool, man. I think that like you said, having a purpose and being able to give back is very important.
Sure.
And even if you're doing it at small levels, just being able to do that is something that everybody needs to kind of tackle.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does just take one person,
Yeah.
And I try to encourage that. I mean, I had a hard time when I was in LA these last 2 weeks walking past people on the sidewalk. They won't even make eye contact.
Yeah. I really noticed
and I'm
that.
like, can I just
yeah.
get a nod or a smile? Like, dude, like, it's not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have a lot going on, whoever that is walking past me. But let me just give you a little bit of happiness real quick.
Let's be human. Yeah.
The humanity has just changed. Like, a lot of people have just ripped that out of each other.
One of the things that really blew me away about how true that is I read a book by one of the guys that did, I think it was called Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about how he was trying to explain how back in the day they used to have, people used to be closer with each other on a human basis, whether if they knew you or not or how well they knew you, because you relied on each other for some reason, and to be alive. Now, whether that's, okay, you're living in a small community where you have a certain amount of people that have to keep out the wolves, you have a certain amount of people that have to till the farm. Everybody relies on somebody at some point just to be alive.
To play a role. Huh?
Yeah,
Sebastian Younger,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew me away. And he said one of the things that we've done that is so hardcore is not only have we gone away from that, we live by more people than within like a 50-yard radius than ever before. You can be in a building with 10,000 people and not know 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't. Not only do we not look at each other, I mean, not only do we not know each other, we won't even glance at somebody or flash them a smile or good day. We don't do that anymore
Unless we have a complaint.
Yes, you're right. We're so
connected to the negativity.
Yeah, or disconnected,
or detached. Yep,
detached from the energy that
Sure.
is out there. We just don't know how to see it anymore. We can't maybe we've lost the way
We're
to
so
tune
focused
into
on
it.
ourselves.
Yes.
We're so focused on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's another thing back to the acting that I think acting also brings out in people. You know, you have to be able to, when you go into when you're studying or you go to do an event, you're learning, like you said, you're going to the classes. You're in a room full of people and you're acting out and doing some crazy stuff that you might be embarrassed about, but nobody's gonna fault you, and what stays in there, and it makes you okay to kind of be human again. Sure. And not have to have this huge shell,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah, I agree.
I
think it's like, I think it's one of those things that you just automatically amongst each other agree this is a safe place.
Yes.
For us to work.
Yeah.
Is it hard to separate the stuff in the mental health world that you come in contact with certain people and into your personal life?
Absolutely. I mean, certain things. I mean, I think everyone has a weakness to something. You could experience something so many times, but it could be just that one random sound of that little child crying that throws you, and you could have seen the most disturbing things at your workplace, but that one day you heard that mother weeping for her child that died haunt you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And everyone's like, what's wrong? What? They would never imagine that it would be that broke you.
Yes. Everybody's different.
And so there was a moment where there was when I was working for the Chandler Fire Department as an intern, I saw a few things, and some of those things were hard to detach because it was just an ongoing trend of teenagers wanting to kill themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, wow. Then one of my good friends' partner just had jumped off the bridge out somewhere and just did it. And I'm like, so then now it's seeking into me in my personal and work. And now they're crossing because now I'm thinking about that teenager that just tried, and I'm like, it's going to happen. Yeah. Like in my heart, I felt like it's going to happen next time or something. And it just started, it's called compassion fatigue, I believe, where you're giving so much.
Yeah.
And you care
feel like
so much
give up.
that it's just wearing you out. Like I can't give so much and keep giving in so much without recharging my batteries, if you will, my self-care. Which segue into why I work out like an animal all the time.
I wanted to talk to you about that. I was going to ask you, because I know you are into health and fitness, how important it is to you and how that affects your normal day life, like how you eat and how you work out. Like,
sure.
How often are you doing that shit?
It's an everyday thing,
Because there was a minute there you got fucking jacked.
Yeah.
This guy was so fucking jacked. Not that you're not jacked now, but you were fucking. There was a minute, dude, where you were on this insane diet and workout. And
sure. So that was all initially just my goal was to just say, you know what? I did a film with Ben Jewell. We did a film, and I was on vacation, and I was going to be one of the lead roles in here. Then I was on vacation in Florida, and I had a week or two, and I was drinking, partying, eating, whatever, enjoying. And then I think that the night before I went back, my cousin will attest to this, but on my way back, the night before, he contacted me and said, hey, you're going to be shirtless for this scene, that scene. I was like,
I know.
Fuck.
I know that pain.
I'm like, my cousin had a treadmill that had dust and cobwebs. I said, break that shit out. I have like 3 hours before I go to bed tonight for the plane. I'm going to run for 3 hours, dude. And so it hit me. Then I got on set. I shot the film, and I wasn't happy with how I looked. Not that I was horrible or whatever, but I wasn't happy with how I looked. And I said, I'm not going to present myself like this again, because that's just not the image I want as an actor.
Yes.
To promote my brand, my image. So at that point, I said, I'm going to take this to the next level. I need to sex sells. We all know that.
Yes.
So I want to have what I can have to the best of my ability. So I just took it to the next level. I did a Jeremy Buendia, shout out. I did he's Mr. Olympia in men's physique category, and hired him. I did an 8-week shred challenge with him. And in 8 weeks, I got pretty shredded.
Fuck yeah, you did.
And then at that point, he called me and said, hey, do you think about competing or anything? And I said, bro, to be honest, I'm in my mid-30s. Bodybuilding or whatever is not in my dreams at this age.
Yeah.
But if it could help me look better and promote myself as an actor, I'm all in.
Yeah.
He says, I'll do whatever I can. He has like 2 million followers on Instagram, you know, and he has a great following. He said, and he kept his word. He said, you know, I'll post your hard work. If you work hard and do your part, I'll share that. And so I worked hard for the rest of that year for 6 or 7 months, and I competed. And then I did take first place in LA, and I took the overall.
I forgot about that. That's
and I won
insane.
a fucking Excalibur sword. And
Holy shit!
it was crazy, right? And so he did, you know, I did interview with him and all these stuff, and he's been great. He was been great.
That's fucking badass,
So
dude.
it was still on that goal though, right? Of actor. It wasn't let's just get in shape, because there's always a purpose to all of this, which helped me, because then I started getting different roles. I started getting some modeling stuff popping up out of nowhere. A supplement line, a clothing line, just random stuff was coming. And I was like, wow, like I didn't imagine that, but that was the fruits of the labor.
Yes.
And so that just became a part of my new image as my brand, that I'm trying to just keep that image and work. And not only that, it gives me it gives me focus and a goal to every day move forward, right? Because as humans, we always want to feel accomplishment.
Yep.
So by me doing my cardio, whatever it is in the morning when I wake up, I start my day off with a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
I feel that way too. Right when I wake up, I like to get a yoga or a run or something out of the way, because even if my day's shitty, at least I got that done. I do that every day for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you accomplished something already. So no matter how the day goes.
Exactly. If I have a shit day, I was like,
at least
I got my yoga in. You know,
That's a great point.
Yeah.
100%.
Right when I wake up, I get something done that I know is positive. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just sets the tone.
Or sometimes I'll even because I'm writing a script, I'll write for an hour, and at least I wrote for an hour, know, whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever it is,
I mean, that's a human thing.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that, because of whatever, there's a shitty day, then what happens? Then you start going in this dark place, like, I didn't get shit done. You start stressing yourself out.
I think I learned that from Rogan. Joe Rogan, actually.
Yeah.
You start stressing yourself out, like, I didn't get shit done today. Today was a waste, and you just start going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And then it trickles into day 2.
Day 2, you feel depressed. I don't feel like going now.
Then you start drinking.
No.
For real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I had those days
whatever.
where I was drinking 6-pack a day, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it
Well, so
happens.
what's your days now
Sure.
with your fitness and shit? Like when you wake up and eating and
Yeah, so
do you take sugar and shit or?
Yeah, no, I do. I try to do fruit, natural
natural
sugars. But I'm pretty much just I don't even really count my macros. I had a coach with Jeremy Windia for a long time, so I've got a good idea of my protein intake, complex carbs, some fats, and how I'm going to do it, what I need to do when I need to do it. I just started working with Sean Standridge. He's Wicked Sean. You can look him up. He's here in Arizona. He's local, actually. He's a pro bodybuilder, and he started his own supplement line, which I'm going to be sponsored by as well.
Dude.
Wow, that's awesome.
All natural products. 100% natural, all his products. He's got CBD oil to chill a little bit. It's called Wicked Chill. Everything of his is like branded, right?
Yeah.
Wicked Chill, Wicked Pre-Workout, and Wicked Daily, which is like a greens.
Yeah, next time you come on, bring that CBD, bro.
Yeah, right? No, it's really great. Everything is third-party tested, everything like that. So it's really legit. So I could try to get y'all connected with that for sure.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, I just work for individuals like that, but it's pretty much 5 to 6 meals a day. I try not to go past 3 hours.
Do you do 5 to 6 meals a day?
5 to 6 meals a day.
That's crazy.
And they're just small meals, or
it's all meal prep.
No, I mean, it depends. I usually will throw rice in a rice cooker, right? And that's cook a gang of rice in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That'll last me, for a week.
Yeah.
And then chicken, I could throw chicken in the slow cooker too, a couple pounds, and let it cook while I'm sleeping and wake up and it's done.
Yeah.
So that'll last me a week. And then I had some greens, but I just portioned that out.
You're trying to get a gram of protein per body weight? Is that
Well,
what you're doing, or?
As I'm trying to grow, I try to do about 2 grams per. So it's a lot.
Damn. You must have crazy shit.
Well, I was going to say, so it's important, for sure it's important.
Dude, when I increase my protein when I'm working out, my hemorrhoids are on fucking
right
fire.
you can't even get it out. You can't get it out.
Oh my god, it's
so
insane.
that's why it's so important to drink lots of water and eat your greens, because that's all digestion and help facilitate
fiber
all
and
that.
shit.
Hey, Swiss Chris, man.
Mhm.
I couldn't go weeks without Swiss Chris, man.
I'm telling you, that stuff's so important. But yeah, I eat like 5 or 6 meals a day, because the concept behind it is usually like you want to keep your metabolism stoked.
Yes.
So by feeding, it's like stoking the fire.
Yes.
If you don't, it slow it down. Or if you eat this big fat cheeseburger, cheese pizza and you just tank your metabolism, it's going to slow it down too.
Yeah.
So once you could get that metabolism going and burning and keeping it that way, your body will start to change. So I just kind of stay like that. I work out, you know, every day pretty much, except for I work at least 6 days a week.
Yeah.
But it's going to change because now that I just got back, I have a new goal right before I want to go to Atlanta is to get jacked again.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to start doing that. So
do you is all your protein from food, or you take like protein powders at all?
Sure.
Or like any type of
I do supplement with protein powder every once in a while. I mean, it's usually right after workout just to get it in my body as fast as possible. But other than that, I don't really mess with it. I mean, sometimes in the morning, I like it with oatmeal. Put the powder in the oatmeal, and it's like a no-bake cookie. So I act like chocolate powder, and I mix it, and it's like a no-bake cookie, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What about like yoga and shit?
Oh, man.
You like yoga?
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, you can't
I'm
do
so
it?
tight. Like, I'm like a virgin, bro. I
Yeah.
can't do anything. It hurts more than anything. It hurts more than anything. No, but it's
Yeah.
great. It is great. I try. It's just I make excuses not to put myself through that.
So you do all this crazy fitness shit. Do you do anything for the mental side? Like, I don't know, maybe like a sensory deprivation tank or meditation or anything like that? Or?
I do some meditation and mindfulness, but fitness, I do a lot of processing, which
It's
is
almost like meditation on its own, you know, running or...
Definitely when you're running, yeah.
Sure. So that's interesting.
I love fucking taking like 6 huge bong rips and going on a run.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I've never smoked. I don't know.
Well, we got a nice blunt if you want to start, right? Just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research behind bilateral stimulation. So whenever you're doing anything bilaterally, it's helping your brain process.
Yeah.
So like doing a walk, you're going left, right? You're bilaterally stimulating your body.
Yeah.
When your feet hit the ground. So like when people go on walks or do just different things like that, it's actually very helpful to process.
That makes a lot of sense because I take my dog either on a run or a walk every morning, and all kinds of crazy thoughts are getting processed.
Sure, and it helps.
Oh, for sure,
it's you could just get a lot done. And there used to be science behind like just walking on a treadmill and trying to read a book.
Yeah.
That it's just different stimulation, and you know your brain cells grow. You can rewire things.
Yeah, it'll help you.
You were saying if you read it, you can comprehend it better.
Yeah, comprehend it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They
while
did
you're
that
doing that.
They did that a lot when they did when I was getting the chemotherapy, just to, like you said, to rewire my brain. So like they did a lot of things with lights and me walking. And
Sure.
I had to hit the lights a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
It's super neat that your brain can literally be restructured, rewired. You could always grow your brain no matter how old you are, if I remember correctly.
That's why this stuff's so amazing.
I like rewiring it with mushrooms.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, psychedelics, whether it's mushrooms, bufo alvarius. I know people... I don't want to talk about anything that isn't natural, but I think that natural psychedelics, whether it's the bufo or plant based, are key.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, absolute key. The stuff that they're doing, and basically that's what it is. It's not only helping grow it, but it's rewiring. It's changing, and it's doing it in a fast, a short period of time. I think I read a article where they talked about how there's people that have terminal illness that are afraid of death, and they're so afraid of death that it's debilitating, and they go through a DMT trip that takes 10, 12 to 20 minutes, and they're not afraid of death anymore.
Yeah, they almost like look forward to it after.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that's helping, we just got to remove that stigma.
Is that bufo season back now?
I hope so.
Fuck yeah, it's been a monsoon. I've been waiting for these motherfuckers all fucking year.
Yeah, we've been.
So during the monsoon, these toads come out, and it's a long story, but I'm waiting to catch one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kinda. I'll have to edit that part out.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? How much time do we have, Chris?
We are at hour 3.
Wow, we're getting pretty good.
Minutes.
What was I gonna say? I had another question. Oh yeah, so you did do the dispatcher stuff, right? Is that 911 dispatcher?
So we were attached to the police and fire department. So when they would go out to a call, we would be attached to them to help the family.
You mean you would go with them?
Yeah. So we would respond
to the
calls. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, a lot of it was overdose a lot
Yeah.
of the time. So we would be there and Sometimes they would give them the Narcan
and adrenaline,
right? But sometimes when the patient coded, then we would be there. My job would be to be with the family, kind of comfort them, and then tell them the process of what happens next. Because sometimes we have to close the scene off, right? If we don't know what caused it, which is pretty tough because you got to tell the family, sorry, you can't go in there. That's not easy. That's not easy to tell. Yeah,
especially a parent.
Right, it's tough.
That's a tough job, but thank God that there's people out there that do it because
like him.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I mean,
sure.
You guys are angels for a lot of people.
It's
you
tough.
Know what I mean,
well, and then with that being said, the mental health and those first responder jobs. I mean, we could see there's the suicidality in firefighters and police officers just locally is going through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's just spiraling. So a lot of mental health companies, including mine, CPR, is really doing our best to prioritize first responders.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this really quick. With all this experience in mental health in America right now, what do you think is the problem that's going on?
That's a big question. All I know is that one, it's the stigma, because it should be something we should all be able to talk about. Like it used to be sex, right?
Yes.
But now that's becoming more open, right?
You don't think it's the over prescription drugs in America, not just with opiates, but
well, sure. I think those contribute to the after effect of the mental
trauma.
health. Sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of this stuff, it depends on what it is. Some of the stuff is in people's genes, and sometimes they're are at higher risk by how they were brought into this world and what environment they were brought in by.
Yeah, you just get a shitty hand.
Sometimes you get a shitty hand, and it's hard because if it is a stigma, people don't educate on it, and if it's not addressed, early on, then it could roll into something else bigger. Then you get into a whole next level, which you're getting bullied at school because you're different.
That's a big problem that a lot of people are talking about is this younger generation. They don't know how to fail and fail correctly. I mean, even the smallest things are like the end of their lives, to them. That's a big problem that we're seeing a lot. And I think that part of it is probably because, and this is just me talking out my ass, but I remember when we were growing up, every kid hung out with all the kids on the street and played baseball, football, and you figured out how to deal with others at that time.
It's funny that you're saying this, because I was just thinking about this.
And now they have too many kids that are learning everything from movies and YouTube and how to act, and they don't know how to really act.
Because they never leave their computer. We grew up with clicks.
Yes.
So, we have friends that we've known for fucking 15, 20 plus years, and, I don't want to say who they are, but I know people who are in their early 20s and stuff, and they don't have any friends or cliques that we did. You know what I mean? So they don't get that social interaction with different people and how to act,
Yeah, you got to, and the human, we need that interaction.
Yeah, for sure.
You
become a robot when you don't.
Yes, you become a robot. Yeah, you need to be able to see another human and conversate with them
So then when you're 21 years old and you've never driven or gone anywhere and you go to a social environment, you shit yourself.
Yes.
And there's hierarchy and there's rules within that clique, and there are alphas and there are
True. It's like a tribe.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
He's right. Yeah, there's no tribe environment in these kids growing up because everyone's just fucking glued to a fucking screen all the time. Yeah. And like I said before, boredom is what I think is good for creativity. I remember just being bored as fuck, making movies when I was a kid, fucking doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yep.
I see these kids now. They got fucking a movie going on here, a screen here, fucking.
It's crazy. I mean, take for instance all these challenges.
Yes.
Where did this shit come from? Social media.
Yep.
How do we get noticed? Let's do the dumbest thing possible. Let's eat fucking Tide Pods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking one that makes me the most mad is the ice cream one. If I see anyone eating ice cream, licking it in the grocery store, I will fucking punch you upside your fucking head.
The other one,
I hate that.
The other one that blows me away is that I remember for a period there's people jumping into shark tanks.
What?
Yeah.
Lit 'em.
Like, you fucking idiots. And I get part of that is because when you're young, you think you're invincible, right? And that's I think the majority of people do. But I think
Chris is looking it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, it's sad. It's but I think every generation has that. I mean, as you evolve, you have to face changes. Like a perfect example is I truly think that we're on the road to changing how certain words are spelled because of texting. I think YOU is going to end up becoming you, or
I never thought of that.
Look at the LOL.
Or we're all going to speak in just emojis.
Yeah, instead of somebody saying, "Oh my God, that's funny," they say LOL. You know what I mean? So it's I could see that changing because of
the thing
technology.
that's funny too is that when it becomes that way, people don't even know how to make the face anymore.
Yes.
I know how to send you an emoji of a funny face, but
I don't know how to smile.
Show the expression because I don't have interaction.
Yes.
So
That's a great fucking point.
It's like you have these mirror neurons that are broken mirrors, so I don't know what to mirror because the shit's all distorted.
Yes.
Like, what is that face?
That happens a lot with him hearing young kids and how readily available porn is, that they don't know how to have real interactions with each other.
They just want to choke bitches out.
Yeah,
I know.
They think that
seriously, they think that was in that show Euphoria. There was a scene where the guy was super rough, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I thought this is how you want it." And she's like, "That's because all you watch is fucking you porn and shit. Like that's not how it is."
Yes.
There's studies out there that more millennials would rather just masturbate rather than get in relationships, and that's why like childbirth in the United States is going down.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. I mean, interaction is changing the whole way we interact, right? People rather swipe left or right on an app and hook up for the night than to engage in a proper courting process, right? Because that's old school. Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm guilty. I'm the old-fashioned style still, but it's so easy and readily accessible.
Yes.
That we don't even know what each other wants anymore. We don't have the same standards anymore. It's
we can't read each other.
It's
either.
a hookup. It's a hookup community. Like it's just it is what it is, right? Adult, do what you want to do, cool. But when it becomes a escape, right? Like alcohol, drugs, sex, it's huge. It could right, absolutely. All those things just could be just wild, man.
This is some fucking crazy times right now, and there's a transition that we're all part of that I don't think we realize is happening. You know what I mean? Like within like the next 50 years, things are gonna be fucking crazy different. I think
it's gonna be. I mean, everything's gonna be readily available. I mean, I think alcohol, for instance. I mean, food. You got Uber Eats. But alcohol, it blows my mind that you could order it and you could drop off the door.
Yeah, that blows my mind too.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that you could do that with weed,
individuals,
not in a bad way.
Sure, especially with individuals who have a problem with drinking, right?
Yes.
Like, they're so drunk they can't drive, but I could call and have it brought to me.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
But what a great time that we live in, that in 2019 you can have weed delivered. Right? That's amazing. That is, I never thought that I would see weed even legal in my lifetime. How crazy
that is crazy. I mean, even when I was in LA, they have that app there.
Oh, yeah. No, they have that here.
Did they have it here?
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
it's different there because it's all recreational there.
Yeah.
For sure. It's way easier there.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Fucking California is just blazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so you got anything you want to fucking plug or promote before we wrap this bitch up?
I think I already kind of squeezed them in, actually. So yeah, any actors out there who are looking to take it to the next level, Margie Haber Studios, they're doing another 2-week intensive this December. I recommend it. It's going to change your perspective. I mean, some of the things I just mentioned, hopefully it makes sense what I was saying.
Oh, totally.
But you have yet to apply these things even because you just got off it, right? So you're still getting ready to.
But I feel like I'm applying it by describing it and talking
for sure.
about it.
No.
It's you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
I'm putting
bro,
it
you're
more.
fucking you're amping me up, bro.
Right. So it's getting more. I mean, there's just so much with that. I would say the Wicked Naturals, the supplements, all natural supplements, the CBD, those things like that.
Where can people find you at?
Find me on Instagram. That's the best place at actor_Ben_Edwards.
Sweet.
I always try to put motivational stuff on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah,
stuff like that.
I looked at his pictures. Holy shit! Yeah, ladies, go check out his Instagram. You'll love it.
Jacked.
It's the angles and lighting. So
you know how to stand a certain way,
right? It's all about angles and
Chris
lighting.
wanted to fuck our last guest too. Remember? He's like, that guy was good. Chris is always trying to fuck our guests.
Nice.
So.
Hey, I'm that new culture, that just fuck him and go.
Hey.
Vampire style.
I used to have a saying, I'm drunk and ready to ride.
Yeah.
That used to be my go-to. But I think I hit everything up
Sweet.
that I needed to. But
Well, shit, man, I really
stoked.
appreciate you coming on our podcast, man, and letting us fucking pick your brain and ask you questions.
For sure.
We had a great conversation. I had a great time, man.
Yeah,
So
no, I appreciate
you're welcome back anytime. If you have something that you're filming that you want to promote or you just want to bullshit, man, seriously, just hit me up. We'll squeeze you in whenever, dude. So.
Well, you did that one. What was that video game job you did?
Oh,
that was dope. I wanted.
What was the back of my fucking head?
So what? I didn't have a chance to say anything to you, but I played the freaking game.
Oh, sweet.
Because my brother gets it, and I thought that was cool.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. That was when you were out of town, right? For that?
No, that was here in Phoenix. That was Real Men Studio.
Oh, okay.
Or was it Real Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun shoot.
Dope.
That was one of the craziest shoots because it was like one of the most I ever got paid for the shortest I ever worked.
Sure.
So it's like it just you do all these free things and all this and that, and it's like everything kind of evens out now. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. So it was a good experience.
And that's interesting you said that because a lot of these things cost money. I mean, that acting course took for 2 weeks cost me $2,800 just for the course.
Shit.
But I'm like,
it could be invaluable.
But I'm like, you do a job like that and you just paid for it in like an hour, if that.
For sure, yeah.
You know, my manager just has a client he just booked, and they get paid $20 an episode, and they got 9 episodes on this TV show.
Wow.
It's like $20,000 per show. It's like that. This training is gonna pay off.
Yeah.
You know, so I just like to stay clear of
it's a numbers game
with
the auditions, and then consistency and not giving up, and not putting a timeline on your career either. I believe, and you just keep up what you're doing, man. It'll fucking.
Yeah, no, you too. I mean, the last time we linked up was for an audition. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was cool. Where we got to audition together.
We were at the hotel. Yeah.
Did you get that?
I didn't get
either.
that. No. But that was the first time we got to connect.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think
that was cool. Well, and
I think I gave you a ride somewhere after that, right?
Yeah, probably here.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
that was a little time we had to connect.
We got that
cool
little solace scene too.
Oh yeah.
You got to beat me up a little bit.
I heard that we stole the show.
Really?
That's what I hear.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
That's dope. But yeah.
Right on, man.
For
well,
sure.
Can you hand me that slate really quick?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Wrap on the Bogcast episode 40. Thank you to Ben Edwards for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. And thanks again to Chad from director of Late Fees, coming soon. He's a bad motherfucker. And thanks again to Chris for running the sound.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And thank you for the blunt.
Squirt.
Hey, man.
Bang!